Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I'm going to be doing a quick recommendation video for one of my favorite types of books to read, and these are my favorite taboo romances. So taboo is kind of subjective. Obviously taboo to me is going to be stuff that's pushing boundaries, stuff that you wouldn't really normally read in romance. It's wrong. It's not for real life, obviously. These books that I'm going to recommend do push boundaries. It's stuff that I never really thought I would ever read. And let me just say that I am not pro for any of these types of relationships. Some of these are pretty bad. I mean, there's even, family stuff a little bit in a couple of these. So obviously I don't condone that. I don't think that's a good relationship to have. It's not real life. I'm here to escape, read something outlandish and kind of crazy. So don't come after me about how these books are morally wrong or this or that. That's why I read them. You don't have to read them. If it's something that pushes your boundaries and something that you think is no way I'm going to go there, don't read them. I just preface this by saying make sure you check the triggers on all these books because they are taboo. They're relationships that are not norm. And anyways, enough of my rant at the beginning. I do want to say that a few of these books are actually from one of my favorite authors that got me into taboo romance, and I consider her the taboo queen, and that is K Webster. So the first few books, literally back to back, I'm going to be talking about K Webster because she got me into this, and I do have to do another side rant, and that is about banning books. The first book that I'm going to bring up was banned. A couple of them. Actually, I think all of them are not available on Kindle Unlimited from K Webster because it was banned on Amazon, and I just think it's stupid. I've read way worse stuff on Amazon. Yes, the subject matter is taboo and wrong and not okay in a lot of situations, but it's a book, and if it says it on the blurb, if it's explaining what the book is, you don't have to read it. We shouldn't be banning authors and stop them from making a living because we find that subject matter, gross, or we think it's over the line. Don't read it. If you start to read it and you find it's not for you, DNF it. But don't come at these authors and ban them. Anyways, a couple of these authors have had that situation rise up with these kind of books, and I just don't like it. I don't think we should ban authors. I mean, K Webster had to literally create a site where she could, offer these banned books, and then other authors do that as well on there because Amazon won't sell them or won't put them on Kindle Unlimited or whatever. So anyways, enough of me preaching about my irritation with banned books. Let's dive in to my favorite taboo romances. So I want to start out with the one that kind of started me going into taboo a lot more, and that is from K Webster, and I'm sure you've heard about it, read it. You may not have read this because it is really taboo, and a lot of controversy went on about it when it came out, and that's honestly what got me into it, and that is The Wild. Again, I'm sorry, this is really shiny, so you're probably seeing my ring light. But this is a very taboo relationship. It is between a father and daughter. I know, right? You would think, why would you read that? Why would anybody want to read something like this? Well, I heard all the drama and all the controversy and how it was banned, and it made me want to go read it. So I literally went to her site and got it. I first got it on ebook just to try it and see if I liked it. Loved it so much that I ended up buying it from K Webster directly because, again, you can't get this on Amazon. So this book is a pretty crazy ride. It is between a father and daughter. So the setup is that they're actually picking up everything that they own. The dad's kind of well off. His name's Reed, and the daughter's name is Devin. And he actually is pretty well off, but they've had some family tragedy. One of their, Devin's, I think it was brother. Sorry, it's been a while since I read this. He had died, and so the mother is in a really bad depression. They're pretty, they're a very grieving family, and she's disconnected. She's not even really there for Devin anymore. And so he decides he's going to pick up their family and they're going to move to Alaska. So they moved to Alaska, and they're on their way. Like, the book picks up when they're moving. They're like kind of in this big RV, and like they end up, it's very close quarters. And the mom's just like completely checked out. And the daughter has some kind of weird feelings about her dad. I'm going to put this down and then maybe put the thing up because I don't know how bad the ring light's glaring at you guys on this one. So let me just put this down real quick. So the mom is totally checked out. The daughter's kind of having inappropriate feelings towards her dad, and she doesn't really understand it. They kind of have a close encounter in the bed while they're both sleeping, kind of rubbing up on each other, and he feels extremely guilty. And then, you know, just pushes it away and says, this can't happen. I don't know what that was. So anyways, what ends up happening is they end up parking in this not a very good smart spot, like, for the night, and they're at the kind of near the edge of a cliff, and it ends up having, like, you know, caving in, and so their complete RV falls down. It's a big wreck. It goes down a big embankment, and the mother dies. So just right there, that's kind of the setup. Basically, Devin and Reed are going to be stuck in the wilderness, starting from scratch with really none of their original supplies, and the mother died. And so this is kind of like, it's really taboo. It's like the build of them being like really dependent on each other, having this forced proximity. They're very like codependent on each other, and it's just them and the wilderness. There's no society or anything creeping in. And so things start to kind of transform, and they start to feel things for each other that they shouldn't. And things do get physical. There are some big trigger warnings in this, for like attempted and pretty much sexual assault, not by the hero, but there are some bad people in this area as well. And it is just taboo. It's crazy. You know, the end kind of has a twist, but basically, like, it is a father-daughter falling in love with each other and starting this relationship in the middle of nowhere, cut off from society. So I really love that book. I know it might not be for everybody, but it was my first foray into like K Webster, and then I just couldn't stop after that. So the next book that I have is one of my favorites by K Webster, and this is Hale. So Hale is a brother-sister romance. I know it's a lot of family stuff going on. It's really taboo. But I absolutely loved this book. This is between Hudson and Riley. And they're brother and sister. He's in college. She's in high school. She's kind of mentally not all there. She has some issues. And she admits that she is in love with her brother. Like, she's always been infatuated with him. And he's kind of addicted to her because he's irritated with her outbursts and her, like, mental instability sometimes. And so he can kind of be addicted to her. And she feels horrible about herself because she's known forever, like, she, like, loves her brother in a way that you should not love your brother. So she basically, what ends up happening in this is their parents die, and she has to like go live, I think, with her aunt, and he's in college. He does have like a girlfriend, of course, at the time, and they end up just getting really codependent again on each other, where it's like it's them kind of getting through this loss, and he's trying to be there for her, and she obviously has these crazy feelings for him, and he starts to feel things for her. He starts to be sexually attracted to her, and they try to fight it, but they like just can't. And, you know, the aunt is kind of suspicious because of the way they're acting. He does have a girlfriend, but he doesn't really want anything to do with the girlfriend. He wants to be with his sister. And so it's this kind of crazy ride of them falling in love, getting together, but being secretive about it. And then how does that relationship work when you are in love with your brother and want to be with your brother for the rest of your life? And there is a HEA in this, and it's crazy because I was so rooting for them. I'll actually go back to this book periodically as like a reread because I don't know why, but I just love it. I love their connection. They do feel like soulmates, which is weird to say. Obviously, I'm not saying brothers and sisters should be in a relationship. That's a no-go, but I love Hale. It's like one of my favorite K Webster books, and I'm so happy that I finally got this from her site. So the last book that I have of K Webster's that I want to bring up is Like Dragonflies. This one is taboo, but it's not as taboo as, you know, Hale and the Wild. It is a brother-sister kind of thing, but they're half siblings and they never grew up together. They didn't know they were related. They met independently and they basically like kind of fall in love with each other. They start dating. And then of course when they're like, I think she's on the good side of the tracks. He's kind of, you know, lower income, bad side of the tracks. And I believe, I can't remember, but I think they share the same dad. I can't fully remember on that. I'm pretty sure it's the same dad. And once the parent, like the mom finds out like that they're like talking, she freaks out because she knows, you know, about them being half siblings. And so they find out the truth, but then it's like they can't stay away from each other. They're already in love. And so it's their fight to be together. And it's just really beautiful. This one is a K Webster and Danielle James co-writing. And I really, like, it was hard to tell who was who. It really flowed together really well. And I found it actually like a lot more emotional than like the other ones. I felt emotionally connected to Hale, but I really love this. This one, if you want to try one of K Webster's that isn't jumping into so severe of a taboo, try this one since oops, there went my books. Okay, try this one since, you know, it is kind of more of a half sibling type of thing. So anyways, I love this book. Okay, sorry about that. So the next book that I want to talk about, which is one of my favorite, it's actually a series. So I do really want to buy this, so I don't have the physical copies yet, but this is the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco. I love this series. I started out irritated, went from like irritated with Kova to falling deeply in love with Kova. He's a Russian, you know, he was a gymnast. He was Olympic athlete. He won the Olympics. He is alpha. He's sexy. He's just everything. So I actually do have a vlog for the Off Balance series. It is spoiler vlog because I go way too deep into it and talk about each book, but it was such a great journey. I loved reading this series. It is taboo because it is between a gymnast coach and his athlete. She is underage. She starts out underage. This is another series that got banned from Amazon, and Lucia had to like kind of change the state or whatever, so it was like the age of consent was legal. And then now it is back on Kindle, on Amazon. I think it's still on Kindle Unlimited. It wasn't previously. You had to buy them through Amazon, so you might want to try and get them right now because I don't know how long they'll stay on Kindle Unlimited. But anyways, so she is underage. She's an athlete. Her dad's, but one of his good friends is Kova, and he has his own gym where he trains athletes. Her goal is to become a Olympic athlete, Olympic gymnast. It's her only passion. It's all she cares about. And she needs to go to a better gym to push her to get to that level. She ends up moving by herself, staying in like her own little place, which I don't know what parent would do that, but, and getting trained by Kova. And Kova is kind of like pretty unimpressed with her at the beginning. She's not where she needs to be. And he trains her. So this is a huge age gap. I think she's like 16, 17 at the beginning of the book. He's in his 30s. He's got a steady girlfriend that he's had for many years. So there is cheating. It's very taboo. But to me, it's like one of those toxic, amazing romances, but they are truly soulmates. And Kova you may be frustrated in the beginning couple books, but he will win you over. I wish there was like a full book just from his perspective because I just love Kova. I want to see what was going through his head during a lot of this. But it's sexy. It's taboo. It's 5 books. So it's quite a bit, a big page count, but it was needed for the evolution to see how much Rhea grows as a gymnast, as a person, how much Kova does to help her achieve her dreams. It's just beautiful. So I love their coach and athlete dynamic too. It's just a really beautiful romance, and it's definitely taboo and fun and a crazy ride. So the next book that I have is Credence by Penelope Douglas. This is one of my favorite Penelope Douglas books. I really want to do a reread of it again because I haven't read it for a long time, but it is just so amazing. Penelope Douglas, they just do no wrong usually for me. Like, I fell in love with their writing, and Credence is out there. So this is actually a romance. It starts out where this girl, Tiernan, her parents killed themselves. I believe one of them was sick, and so they were like this Hollywood kind of it couple, and they didn't want to live without each other, so they end up killing themselves together and leaving their daughter. So that's pretty traumatizing, pretty horrifying for her to go through. And so she's, I think she's like 17 at the start of this, I believe. I can't remember because I haven't read it for a while. But she gets contacted by her step-uncle. So her dad had like a step-brother that he wasn't close with. She didn't grow up around him. She didn't really know anything about him. But he finds out about the death, and he reaches out to her, let her know he can, bring her in. He can help take care of her. And he lives out in like the snowy like mountains, up very secluded. When it snows, it gets totally snowed in where they can't get down the hill for like a couple months. So this does have that very snowed in, excuse me. This does have that snowed in forced proximity thing going on. And so she goes to go live with him, and it's with her step-uncle Jake, and then his two sons, Noah and Caleb. So the thing about this one that makes it taboo is its step-uncle, obviously, but also that it's not just the uncle she gets involved with. She does get involved with the two sons at different points. So she kind of has a thing going on with each of them separately. And the thing is, I love them all so much. And it isn't a reverse harem or wide shoes romance. She does pick one to be with. And so it's kind of like I loved each one of them in their own ways. Noah's like really fun and outgoing and crazy, and Caleb is super dark and broody and moody and kind of an asshole, which I love those. So, and the uncle is just so amazing. Like, he's so supportive and sweet and like such a great guy that you love all of them. Like, you want her to be able to be with all of them. But she does pick one, and it's just so hot. It's steamy. It's different, and I really loved it. So the last book that I want to talk about is one of my favorite age gaps that I've ever read. It is taboo, but I think this is probably the least taboo. Maybe Credence might not be as taboo, but this one I don't think is as taboo. Some people hate it, other people love it. And that is Torn by Carian. Torn is taboo because it is a relationship between a young girl and like kind of like her godfather, her dad's best friend. He helped raise her. So just be aware that's what is kind of iffy for some people, because it's not like he's like kind of a dad's best friend that steps in once in a while. Her father had her at a really young age. I believe they were like 16. They were still in high school. This is also it's like a standalone, but it's in a duet. The duet's amazing. The other one's about Torrin's brother. But this is also connected to Carian Cole's Rockstar series. I think it's Ashes and Embers. And her dad is actually the lead singer of that band. And he made it big right out of high school. Him and his girlfriend had her very young. They got married. Her mom ended up getting in a really bad accident, and she's in a coma for like years and years and years. And so that's really hard for her, not having her mom and watching her dad basically stay single and never move on and just be waiting for her mom to wake up. So that's really emotional. And then you have Torrin, who's his best friend. He was kind of a part of the band, but then things happened in his life that he couldn't really continue with the band. So he is basically like his best friend. He like saves animals and like dog rescue and all that kind of stuff. He's just such a dreamy hero. And he helps kind of like be a godfather and help raise Kenzie. And they become like best friends. And that's the thing that's so beautiful in this is they are truly best friends. She's a lot more mature for her age because of everything that she went through with her mother being in a coma and everything. She had to grow up really fast. So I really like that because I think she's like 17, 18 when things start to change with her and Torin. And so, but she feels much older. And Torin and her, she starts to have feelings. He is feeling a certain way about her, but he really fights it because he thinks it's wrong. It's so wrong. I can't do this to my best friend, all of that. But they can't deny their feelings for each other. That their chemistry is off the charts. I really believe they're soulmates, that they belong together. And it's super angsty, like hiding their relationship, trying to fight this being together. And then when her dad finds out, it's like, her dad finding out is insane. And so it is one of my favorite books. It's just so amazing. It's the best age gap. I think one of the best age gaps I've ever read. But it is taboo for some people because they don't like the fact that he literally helped raise her. So he's known her since she was a baby. And so that may be kind of iffy for some people. But I think this is a good jumping point to start in with a little bit of taboo, start in with age gap, all that. Absolutely love these characters. Love this book. All right, so those are some of my favorite taboo romances. Obviously, I read a lot of taboo, so hopefully I'll be doing another video soon. But thank you so much for, watching this video. If you have any taboo recs, please leave them below because I'm always looking for more. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.